Today on CityCast Madison. Several South Park businesses are on the rebound after a major fire destroyed their shared warehouse earlier this month. One of those business owners is local artist Erica Koivunen, owner of Acme Ironworks. You've probably seen her work around town. She built the huge metal tree on Willie Street and helped install those massive birds on Patterson, just to name a few. We checked in with Erica to see how she's picking up the pieces now. It's Tuesday, April 25th. I'm Bianca Martin, and here's what Madison's talking about. Hi, Erica.
Hi, Bianca.
I'm incredibly sorry for your loss. And how are you doing?
As long as I don't think about things too hard, I'm okay. Wake up, I walk my dog. I don't know. My sister-in-law and I, we look at each other. We're like, I'm fine. Yeah, you're fine. We're fine. We're fine. We're fine.
You start saying you're fine so much that it's like, I'm telling myself this, and it will be true.
Yeah, I don't know how else to answer it. Like, I wake up and I'm like, fuck, I'm still here. Then friends call and text and they say, we're coming over and we're going to clean out your garage, which is what is happening today.
I do want to set this scene so folks know who you are. You're a metal worker, a welder, and some folks may already know your work. You know, I'm thinking of the huge birds on Patterson. I walk by them all the time and just admire the heck out of them. The tree on Willie Street, and there's many, many more of your works around Madison. Can you just talk a little bit about what you work on and, you know, what the space was like before the fire?
Oh, sure. Well, my husband and I got this shop in 2009. He was an ornamental iron worker and a fabricator. So his part was to kind of manipulate the materials, raw material, like sheet and plate and angle iron and stuff. Whereas what I did and will do was I found objects and then looked at these found objects and used their pre-existing shape and form and was like, ooh, this is a petal. And so I'm going to take a bunch of these and I'm going to make a flower. And so you could still kind of see the life they led prior to their coming through my hands. And I'm like, now you're a bird. Now you're a flower. Now you're an eyeball.
Yes.
So Madison sourdough on Willie Street, if you go there, there's hearth flowers. You know, they were big, thick coils. And I cut those up and I made that hearth flower. And then I added the spoon flowers, fork flowers, knife flowers. And yeah.
I love that. They're beautiful. And I have seen that one. I go to Madison sourdough pretty frequently. So yeah, I'm pretty sure I saw some of your work just walking around my neighborhood.
I'm everywhere.
Yes. How did you find out about the fire?
So my sister-in-law was in town and we were getting together. She was going to early vote. I had already early voted. And then, let's get some dinner. So we go to the Bear and Bottle, have some dinner, and we walk out at, a little after 7, and we hear this big crash of lightning. Like, so we're way over on the north side. We walk out and you could feel it in your heart. You're like, holy moly, I'm glad I wasn't near that. So she's like, hey, do you want to go to John First's house? I was like, yeah, let's go over to John First. So there we go. She's real nearby. Missy picks up her phone and she's like, Rob, my husband's best friend, is like, hey, Missy, is Howie and Erica's shop burning? And I'm looking at her like, no, that's ridiculous. What is happening? No. And so then we look into it further and Jennifer gets on her computer and like channel 3 is there and there's fire coming out of the building. And it's like, yeah, that's 1804 South Park Street. And, that's a song I sing. 1804 South Park. It's like, what? And I'm in complete denial. No, it's not my shop. It's somebody else's shop because you break into that survival mode. I'm not proud of that.
I mean, it's 100% human. So
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, the night went on, the news got worse. And Murphy, who was my shopmate, he was kind of keeping me going. Like, he kind of took over Aaron's area, his forging area. And that helped me want to be at the shop, because being at the shop was difficult because Aaron, was never going to be there again.
Right. And this is your husband.
Yeah. And this is my husband.
Mm-hmm. Your late husband.
Yep.
Who passed away.
Yep. Yep.
And you shared the shop. Yeah, you two were artisans together, as you were sharing at the beginning.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We, we need people, and we needed each other, and we were different, but it worked. It worked pretty good. I just realized this as I went through my voicemail yesterday, because voicemail, I don't check. I just let them kind of slough off,
Same.
I was like, well, yeah, right. It's voicemail. So I decided to check it, and apparently at 7:30 on Friday night, the Madison Police Department called my number because I was the emergency contact for 1804 South Park Street. But I think that's just because we had been there for so long. I honestly, I don't know. It's very much a surprise, but I left my phone in the car, So, and like, what was I going to do anyway? Just cry earlier.
I mean, yeah, and honestly, our phones are way too much a part of our lives, so it's not your responsibility to have your phone on you every second. That could happen to anyone. So it sounds like no one was hurt in the fire, but did the fire department tell you how the blaze started?
I don't know officially, but I'm just going to go with lightning.
Because you heard that.
Yeah, I heard that. I mean, I heard a bunch of different stories. There was just things flying around, and honestly, I don't feel like blaming anyone, and I'm not going to know, so I choose. And if I have to choose between something, I'm just going to go with lightning.
Can you talk about what the shop looks like now?
Yeah, I just kept going back like a dog whose owner had died, and you were like, woo, keep going back to, I know it's so sad, but that's what it felt like.
It's so natural. It was your shop. And more than that, I'm sure.
Yeah, it was such a place where people could come, and you walked in the door and I could see my shop through other people's eyes, and they were like, wow. And it was like, oh yeah, just remember that, this is a really terrific, impressive place. And it's hard. I'm a Midwestern woman. I'm not allowed to say that, but
I do know what you mean, but I'm one of these emotional creatures. So you are absolutely free and allowed to say here that it meant something to you. And it was something that you had visions, and it was a place that you had literal vision as an artist and someone creating. I have to ask, what were you able to salvage much? Yeah, I mean, you were working, with metal. Did anything make it?
Absolutely. I mean, reason number one to work in metal, you can't mess that up. You have to mess that up intentionally. It's not going anywhere. That stuff will be around longer than you and me and anybody else. And it has been around longer than you and me and anybody else. It's metal. Yeah, metal. It's a reliable material. Won't let you down. So the first day that I actually showed up there, Glenn and Andreas were there. So they show up early. I show up at 11. And so when I get there, they have shovels, and they have shoveled paths, and they have shoveled piles. And they had shoveled the path so I could get to my bench, which was kind of in the back of the shop. And it's like a 24,000 square foot space. And what's really funny it's small when there's no roof and no walls. It shrinks. I didn't ask anyone to be there, but people showed up and they knew what to do. They just knew what to do.
It's huge.
There's a picture of Aaron's anvils, and he had 2 anvils there. One of them is like a 535-pound anvil, which is the largest in Dane County, perhaps in southern Wisconsin. It's the largest anvil in southern Wisconsin. Like, I've got a duty to be the custodian of these things.
And they made it through the fire because they're metal.
Yeah, yeah. They were forged in fire. They were born of fire. You need to be a lot hotter than that to mess with these tools. Some of the other things, that had motors and cords, yeah, they did not make it. Brand new plasma cutter, nope. Just a pile of unrecognizable rubble, basically. Man, it was so devastating. And so the fire came from the top of the building to the floor. There were things that weren't touched. I had a dictionary. It was burned along the edges, but I opened it up. I was like, this is still a perfectly fine dictionary. We got our benches, which is like just these big metal tables.
And you can still work with those.
Yeah, my table is special. It was a jail cell door, and weird, right? But that jail cell door bench, it was just like solid plate steel, beautiful for welding on. And as my mentor would say, releasing the spirits of whomever had to be behind that door.
Who is your mentor?
A fellow, Tom Every, Dr. Evermore.
I was thinking it was maybe him. Someone extremely special.
Yeah. I mean, I walked into his sculpture garden when I was 22, and look what happened to me. It was like, I'm changed forever and I'm never going back.
Can I ask you, you make art with metal, and fire and heat are tools of your craft. How does that impact your thinking about all this and what happened?
I still have a high opinion of fire. I'm, when you're welding, it's a very specific heat. It's not really fire, it's more electricity. It's just this power that you have to respect.
Well, I've been moved by your work and, especially those birds that I know, that was something with Dr. Evermore. And he's an infamous Wisconsin artist, Dr. Evermore. He touched me as well, just wild and wacky and amazing and huge metal sculptures. Can I ask what he was like as a teacher, a guide, a friend?
Yeah, we found each other when we needed each other. Like he was just super sad, and I don't know if you noticed, but I'm pretty bouncy.
I love it. Yeah, me too. Boom, boom, boom.
We were just running around southern Wisconsin, and he was my on the road Mr. Rogers neighborhood. He was like, "Do you want to come and see something?" I was like, "Yeah, I want to go and see a plastics factory. Let's go see Art Fish's brother out there, and we'll go see how plastic tiling is made."
Adventure.
Yeah, it was adventure. He took me to Beloit Corp when they were wrecking it in Beloit, and he was like, "See all this stainless," and all his buddies were out there. When it came to welding, he would look at me. He's like, "Don't be afraid. Just weld it. You don't have to wait. If you mess it up, you just move on. Make another weld. Add to it." He's always very additive. Like, we don't pull things apart. We add to them. And if you don't like your sculpture, like, I get to the 80% mark and I'm always so like, "Oh, I've really messed this up. Oh, no one's going to be happy. Oh no." And that's when I know I'm at the right spot and that I just have to push through and finish it.
No, I heard you earlier say, that you're always going to love fire and working with metal, and you're going to continue to do the work. A friend of yours has started a GoFundMe campaign, and the quote says, "Help Erica the welder get back to welding." And already around $20,000 has been raised. Is that enough to make you whole after the fire, or is there more needs?
It's hard. And Stacy and Rebecca are my friends, and they got this going. And because they know me, that I will not reach out for help. And that's why everyone's showing up at the shop. I didn't ask anybody. Like, they just show up because they, wanted to preserve something that Aaron had left behind. And clearly I needed help. So by my account, my shop had at least $100,000 in tools, like a Bridgeport and a metal shear and a power hammer and all kinds of hand tools, like a portaband and a handheld portaband and sawzalls. And I can't even, like, the materials and, like, There's so much.
There's a lot.
I also want to be thankful for what has already been, given to me. Like, I would be happy with my little begging bowl, like I'm just happy people care. I mean, I'm gonna make do with what I get because it's my animal. That's what I do.
Will you make me a promise?
We'll see. We'll see.
Good. That's a good metalhead answer. As a fellow Midwestern woman, you can ask what you need, or you don't have to ask. And I love that you have people in your life that are there and they love you and they want to help. And often people want to help, and it's not like something that's a burden to them, but it's a gift. And you gift a lot to others.
And like allowing people to help, it's easier than asking for help for sure. But I think you're right as far as like, if there's any time in my life when I should be able to reach out and say, I need help. Oh, it's so hard to say, but it's a good practice.
Well, how about this? I think, honestly, I take back what I said. You don't have to ask anyone unless you find yourself there and you need to do it. But like maybe the more it's better, like to get to a space where you can receive all the love that's coming your way. And I feel so much care for you. I can't even see you right now. But I feel your spirit, and I just feel for you so much and everything that you built. And this was an incredibly difficult time. And so, but you do have a community and folks that care about you.
Acme Ironworks and 1804 South Park Street, and what Aaron and I built really made a space for other people to believe that this was real. Like we were artists. I am artists that made a living being an artist, had a house, like we succeeded. And I'm very proud of that.
And you're going to carry on.
Yeah, I have to. Well, as long as I'm waking up, might as well just do what I'm good at.
Weld that metal.
Weld that metal.
Well, Erica, thank you so much for sharing your story and being vulnerable. It's very courageous, and I'm so sorry for what happened, and we'll definitely be sharing out the link for you and the other, folks who also lost their businesses in the fire.
Oh, thanks for asking me questions. Thanks for caring about this situation.
That's Erica Koivunen, welder, artist, and owner of Acme Ironworks. If you'd like to support her and other businesses affected in the South Park Street Fire, check out our show note. We'll share the links. And here's what else Madison's talking about. A change of mood on a mood-altering drug. Assembly Republicans are now apparently working on a bill to legalize medical marijuana. Assembly Speaker Robin Vos told the Associated Press that he hopes to introduce it this fall. That's after years, by the way, of Democratic bills being introduced and going nowhere. And this Thursday, April 27th, there will be a student-led Take Back the Night march on the UW campus. Marchers will start at 5:30 p.m. on Library Mall and head up to the Capitol. There will be a forum for sexual assault survivors to share their stories. They're still looking for any speakers who want to join. That's all for today, here on CityCast Madison. I'm Bianca Martin. If you enjoy this show, why not tell a firefighter about us? We'll be back tomorrow morning with more stories from around the city. Until then, be kind.